Boba Fett in his silver speeder.
So they were racing in tubes.
I know, it's like we're racing side of a hamster cage.
A habit trail.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, okay, not a great design. I like the concept. I like the idea of sports in Star Wars, but yeah, the design's not great.
When I looked at this, it looked like Wet and Wild. It looked like looks like a water park.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're at dtmerch.com. There's so many other things that you can do over there and see, such as our new videos that are up on TikTok and up on YouTube. But what I really want you to do is I want you to go and first of all, you can start by looking at that banner in the middle of DT Merch, clicking that. So you can go over to x1entertainment.com/double-toasted so you can get tickets for Double Toasted live in New York City, Brooklyn to be more exact. That's April 1st. And that's going to be a show starting at 8 p.m. at the Roulette Intermedium for a night of comedy, games, and much, much more. You're going to have a great time while you're there. Even some of your most hardcore Star Wars fans out there, I didn't want to say no names. Notice I did not point to, but I did point, but I didn't say anything.
You can point me. I'm a Star Wars fan.
But even some of the biggest Star Wars fans out there, especially the younger ones, nobody can blame me, especially the younger ones, they still have no knowledge of these Saturday morning Star Wars cartoon shows. And we'll probably revisit some of these as this show goes on. But the one I want to bring up today is one that centers on the adventures of C-3PO and R2-D2. And how many of you remember back in the 80s, I think this was 85, the show Droids? As you can see, very Star Wars, man.
Very Star Wars.
I think John Williams wrote that.
Yeah, of course. That's him singing, matter of fact. Yeah. You don't know his voice, do you?
Hanging with a bunch of droids.
Hey, he's a jazz loud singer. You know how it is in Star Wars.
Flying all through outer space.
Yeah, man. Nice.
Yeah. You laugh at that song.
I do.
And I understand why you would, because I mean, it's just, it just nails Star Wars so much.
Absolutely, through and through. Emulates the score, the music perfectly, the tone.
What I think 80s pop music.
I want to think of Star Wars.
Yeah. I think they played that in Jabba's palace.
Man, they might have.
Hanging in this dungeon, trouble again.
Yeah. Comes right after Jedi Rock. Yeah. That
song was actually made by somebody very popular, big name in music.
Oh, okay.
Now that you know.
I'm waiting to hear.
Stuart Copeland. No idea.
Nope, but it's crazy.
A lot of younger people, when they probably don't know the name Stuart Copeland unless you're into music or you're keeping up, even with film scores. Now, that's the only way I think you would know that, because Stuart Copeland has done musical scores before for movies.
Nice.
But a lot of other people, some older people, are fans of music, would know Stuart Copeland as the drummer for the Police.
Oh, okay. I know the Police.
With Sting and everything. Yeah, and everybody's, everybody has heard a Sting or a Police song before.
You don't have to wear that dress tonight. You don't care.
There he is over there.
Yeah, I've seen him in the cantina a few times.
Yeah, there he is. I think they're playing for Stormtroopers right now.
That's right.
They're in Tatooine at this moment. So, yeah, Stuart Copeland, I think he wrote that song.
Okay, nice.
I don't know if he's singing, but I think he wrote that.
Right. All right.
You sit there and make fun of his work. That man's a legend, sir. How dare you?
I have an appreciation for it.
No, you don't.
I don't.
The whole time you have to look at you for like, what's this shit?
What is this? This isn't Star Wars.
This show deals with it. I mean, I don't know, man. A lot of people wonder where this show falls. Is it actually canon? Does it fall into the actual history of Star Wars? So the show itself deals with C-3PO and R2-D2. And they're just, throughout the show, I think they went through 4 masters, but they're lost. And they're just, I imagine they're trying to get their way back to the characters that we know, Luke and Han Solo and Princess Leia. So, they'll find one master, then they'll hang out for about 4 episodes with them.
All right, we're done with you.
Yeah, and
get out of here.
That good thing, and then I'll move on to another one. As far as this being canon, now you are the expert here, but I think they sort of, retconned this into Star Wars canon, because it is considered to be canon, I think, because they kind of forced it into a spot. They say it takes place 2 or 3 years are how long is this? Is it 5 years? It's 5 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, no, I read about this.
And 15 years
before
A New Hope.
Yeah, so yeah, what happened was, because I was like, because I never watched Droids. I always knew about Droids, but I never watched an episode. And I was like, I want to learn a little bit about the history before we talk about this. And apparently, R2 and C-3PO, they were owned by Captain Antilles, who was commander of the Tantive 4 in the beginning of A New Hope, and he gets choked by Vader. That's that guy.
Yeah.
And somehow they get separated from him, and that's where all these adventures take place. And then I guess after these adventures, they reconnect with him.
Which they don't really explain, I don't think.
No, they do not. Like, because I even watched the opening of the first episode. They don't explain that at all.
Yeah.
It's all Wikipedia, and Wikipedia's nonsense.
None of this makes any sense.
It
I mean,
doesn't.
all this stuff, they force it into history because they make it up on the spot.
Yes, exactly.
Because when they did this,
they didn't care.
None of this stuff, like Clone Wars wasn't thought about.
No.
The prequels weren't thought about. None of this stuff. They just wrote a show about the adventures of these robots.
Yep.
You know, sort of a what if they were on their own by themselves.
Yep.
You'll see some things that are pretty different from your typical Star Wars project. But also there's a lot of similarities, especially with some of the properties and it's really with the shows.
Oh yeah,
that
definitely.
came later.
Yeah, several characters, especially.
Yeah, characters,
designs, aesthetics.
Yeah, there's a lot that connects this to the shows later by accident, I'm sure. But a lot of things are different.
Some people took inspiration from this.
Did they?
Yeah, Jenny Tartakovsky.
Oh, of course.
Who did the 2D Clone Wars series. He based a lot of the designs actually off the droids. C-3PO especially made him so expressive in that show.
That is true, man. That, you know, but I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
You know, they are very expressive. You know, C-3PO's never had a oh shit look like that.
No,
before.
he never has. Never seen this scared.
No, usually he looks like this.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah, but man, it looked like somebody just grabbed his ass.
It's R2.
R2.
Well, we know R2's definitely doing that. These two, this gay couple right here.
That's why you're putting that thing again. Not here, R2. If you're looking at the art style in this, now the art style might seem very familiar to some people out there because you know that art style is actually reminiscent of arguably the best thing to come out of the holiday special that was on in 1978.
Saved my life. Come in search of a ship that crashed near here.
Maybe I can help you.
So that's the Boba Fett segment, the animated segment from the Star Wars Holiday Special, which, if you ask me, that is the best thing to come out of that show that special.
It's the best segment and probably some of the best Boba Fett material.
It is
that we have.
It is. If you ask me, that is the best Boba Fett thing that they have done. With this, also familiar are some of the voices that you know. Anthony Daniels, you saw in the credit, they got him in the credits before this. They got him back.
Trouble again.
R2D2 came in to do his own voice work. You know, I'm glad to see that
himself.
I'm glad to see he's keeping it professional.
Put my life in jeopardy.
You know, R2 got so popular that he had other people doing the work for him. But he said, I'm gonna come back for this.
I'll do that. I'll do my beeps. I'll do my boops.
Yeah.
And you'll be happy about that.
My whistles. So even though this is canon and they found a way to just kind of really just force this in and retcon it still stands out. It still stands out as a product of its time.
Oh, very much so.
A lot of these Star Wars properties, you know, no matter how much they try to make them all feel and look the same, they are still products of their time. And this is no different right here. So if you want to talk about some of the things that are not like Star Wars, very un-Star Wars-like, so we don't get any big orchestrations. You know, we don't get the Star Wars theme.
Nope.
This is before ABC, I believe. Maybe ABC had Disney at the time. I don't think so. But they don't have, I guess they don't have the rights to the song. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't use it. But I kind of like that they didn't because, you know, that theme was overused anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of like they did a little something different. But the different thing that they did is very much 80s. Like instead of big orchestrations and the Star Wars theme and the score and all that, this is a lot of 80s synth music. Okay, they got a drum in there.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
One lone drummer.
Yeah,
so much of that music was like at the end of every, you know, part of the music was like, the more you know. It just felt like that to me.
Part of like a John Carpenter movie or something.
Yeah.
It was either that or even more 80s, like was they had like a lot of 80s new wave pop stuff going on, stuff that felt like new wave pop music.
I'm fat, and I fell over.
Ooh, radical, man. If you were edgy in the 80s, you had a mohawk.
Of course.
If you were a villain, or if you were edgy, you were anti-hero.
Right.
You had a
part of your head was shaved.
Yeah, you had a mohawk, man. Like these teenagers. So in this episode of this story arc, R2 and
3PO
and C3PO find themselves with these young rebels in a way who also go out and they do what is it? They're cycle racing or whatever.
Yeah, they're speed racers.
Speed racers.
It's
like
like before pod racing.
It's speed cycle race. What is it? Speed racer.
Speed racers.
Yeah, speed racer. Speed racer racers. Started to say speed racer racist.
Yeah. They might be.
But if you look at the man, they all of them have some form of a mohawk.
So, George, you and the witch ready to win your first big one?
We're gonna clean up the hole, buddy.
So if you look, all of them have some form or another of the mohawk.
Yeah.
Like my man right here, he has like the half hawk, which
not a great look.
It's a terrible look.
Not a good look.
It's a it's one of those things where you couldn't decide if he, this is a guy who can't commit.
Bold, keep the hair.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go half and half.
Yeah, it's almost like somebody took what do you call it, a mullet, and just turned it around.
Yeah.
Turn it on his side. And for the person who doesn't really want to shave their hair, but want to kind of fake the mohawk,
faux mullet,
they had the faux hawk right here.
Faux hawk.
Yeah.
Looks like a skunk.
Yeah.
It's a skunk woman.
Yeah, it looks like the Lorax is on her hair.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Like his mustache.
It just pops up, gives advice occasionally, and goes back down.
Yeah. So she just kind of colors the center of her hair.
Yeah.
So she don't want to commit and cut.
Nah.
Because she saw this asshole back here.
Hell of a widow's peak, though.
Yeah, she sure does.
Looking like Vegeta.
And also, one of the things that's different here is that since this is animated, and we've already brought this up, you might notice that the droids, they're a little more flexible.
Yeah, they are.
It's almost like that metal is made out of rubber.
As for you, R2, D2, so far your presence has been completely detrimental to our master's plans. I suggest that you leave before you destroy anything else.
Yeah, but like R2's looking like a limp dick or something.
Yeah, I know. He's bending around.
Yeah.
He's like floppy. He's floppy.
He's all rubbery and everything.
Yeah.
Of course, that's them taking advantage of animation, squash and stretch.
We can make them be more expressive in animation.
And that's what they're trying to do. Like you never see, that's one of the things that they benefit from with animation. They can convey emotions a little more because you get to see that, R2 gets the slump.
Yep.
The sad slump. Also, C3PO. C3PO is doing, as we mentioned already, doing something that you never see him doing in any of the movies or the shows or anything live action. And all of a sudden, he got eyelids.
Yeah, he does.
What have I done?
Oh, good heavens! I'm blinking. What have I done? They gave him pupils.
Yep.
So he's a little more expressive here. Definitely a different design than what they've done. So for those who were complaining that the recent shows, man, it's good, but man, he spent a whole lot of time in the dirt, a lot of sand.
Oh, yes.
I mean, all this dirtiness going on.
Tatooine and all that. Yeah.
All these getting all this dirt in the cracks of everything. Listen, they've always done that. Apparently, if you go by this, so they go to a planet called Bunta.
Bunta,
and on Bunta, you can call it Bunta. That's Tatooine.
Yeah, might as well be.
Yeah, come on. This is another.
It's a junkyard on Tatooine.
Yeah, it's another dirty ass planet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say they're in the frontier, they're in the outer rim, and so a lot of those worlds are not well civilized, and so there will be more natural environments, shitty environments.
Yeah,
you're right.
But I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah,
it's just
it's the aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. That's and a lot of people say that's the Star Wars aesthetic that they like. When it feels more like a Western, when it feels more gritty, more dirty. That's why a lot of people love Tatooine. A lot of people these days were just saying, just like every show spending their time on Tatooine.
A lot of them do.
So they got away from that a little bit.
Sure.
But, apparently there's a lot of sandy, dirty-ass planets in the galaxy in Star Wars. C-3PO is annoying as usual.
Yeah, he's annoying and he gets everyone in trouble and in danger a lot. He makes a lot of horrible decisions in one episode.
Yeah, and thinks he's better than everybody else.
100%. Yeah.
That's the thing about C-3PO. First of all, I've been saying this for the last few movies, man. First of all, he's just useless.
Oh, help! R2, get me down!
The first thing they do when they land on that planet is he gets tangled up.
Yep. Needs to be saved.
Yeah, it needs
Damsel
to be
in distress.
Yeah.
R2.
The first thing that happens when they land on that planet, his dumb ass gets tangled up in something.
Yeah.
R2's competent. R2 hardly ever gets into trouble. In fact, he's saving people most of the time.
He's very proactive.
And he's polite.
Yeah.
You know, R2 knows how to go down and he's like, maybe I don't trust everybody, but I know the importance of a kind word. I know the importance of winning people's trust.
Kind boop.
Oh, pleased to meet you, R2-D2.
Guess who's the asshole?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Guess who's the one that's down there, just program everybody by being just plain rude.
I could fix that.
I'm sure Mistress Keir would like a second opinion.
C-3PO is that friend that you can't bring around people.
No.
Because everybody wants to beat his ass. He always says something wrong to somebody. He always pisses somebody off.
Obnoxious.
Always obnoxious. Yeah.
Looks down other droids. He doesn't like the way that guy looks.
That's what it is.
Because he works in a junkyard. He's not as presentable.
C-3PO is an elitist.
He is. Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yep.
I'll get into that in a little bit. So this robot right here, I think his name is what is it? Proto 1?
Sounds about right. Yeah, Proto.
I think it's Proto 1. What I like about Proto 1, Proto 1 does not hesitate at all to let everybody know, especially C-3PO, I don't like you.
Would you kindly help me down?
Boing.
Apparently he landed on a spring in that junkyard. Landed on a mattress with spring sticking out.
You knew the mattress was there. It's fine.
Yeah, whatever. And also, I noticed in the episode, he says, C-3PO, nice to meet you. Don't say shit to he's to R2-D2. To R2-D2, he says, nice to meet you, R2.
Right.
Don't say shit to C-3PO.
Yeah, of course, he knows.
Nice meeting you, R2-D2.
I advise you to choose your friends more carefully, R2. We droids are often judged by the company we keep.
Did he fart?
You know what I have to say to that 3PO? Pulling a raspberry at him. That's what he was doing.
It's not enough to just be rude to the guy. He farts on the couch. That's because his ass is sticking out.
His ass is sticking out. Yeah, that's right. Man, yeah.
He farted on his... Wow, that's showing somebody your disdain for them.
This is what I think of you.
We droids are often judged by the company we keep.
Here's what I think of that company.
You don't want to say bye to me, huh? I got something for you.
Yeah, I'll say goodbye. I asked something to say to you.
He was in that nice position too.
He was. Oh yeah, he was ready.
Damn, I didn't know C-3PO had that apple bottom like that, man.
Apple bottom ass. Yeah, he's rocking.
Them golden apples down there.
Oh, yes. It's delicious apples.
Yeah, those delicious golden apples down there, man. Squeaky clean.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, we were saying that C-3PO, I mean, I guess it's true to his nature. Like it's kind of cool that they have a show about C-3PO and R2-D2 because they really get to explore these characters like they've never been explored before.
True.
Because like you really don't know how much an asshole C-3PO is until you spend a lot of time with him.
That's why R2's so rude to him all the time. Now you get it. Now it's like, oh, I understand R2. Yeah. You being around this guy the whole time, you know.
Yeah, R2's like you would too. You'd be annoyed too. I'm stuck with this asshole.
Yeah,
I mean, but you know.
Yeah,
and you're not. And look how much you don't like him.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
spent 5 minutes with him. Because he's very elitist. Like that robot, that droid from the junkyard, Proto 1, like he just doesn't like him because he's living in a junkyard.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he's beneath me.
Don't be ridiculous, R2. He suggests we employ the help of that walking scrap heap, Proto 1.
Hey, not a bad idea.
Well, actually, he found me.
No.
So it's kind of cool too. They do the wipes like the movie.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
they try to bring that in, but you see that he's like, that
dirty poor robot,
that peasant over there. He can't do anything for us. I mean, he lives in a junkyard.
Yeah, of course.
But this shady guy that I just met.
Yeah, who approached me? Because he made 3PO feel important.
That's right. Played to his ego.
Yeah.
So this droid out of nowhere comes up and he's like, oh, I see your ship is broken. You know what? I got a garage over here. all the tools you need, everything for free. Come in here and it's like, why? It's like, because you look like good people.
I like you. I just like the way you look.
Yeah.
You'll find a full complement of tools, Master Thor. Everything you should need.
This is too good to be true.
Yeah.
How long can we
Yeah, because it probably is. All of them are dumbasses.
Man.
And I guess when you shaved half your head, you shaved half your brain.
The brain just, all dead. Fell out.
This is too good to be true.
good to be true?
My master is elsewhere taking care of some business.
None of this sounds right.
No.
Like, even at his most innocent, it sounds like a kid whose parents left town and he's throwing a party.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. They won't care. Yeah.
You're like your boss is gone and you're taking advantage of the moment.
Here's the key to the liquor cabinet. Too. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's all right. I love that he wears his boss's logo. Just really emphasize that he's the villain.
Yeah. I tell you who does kind of suspect something's happening. Who do you think? Who do you think is the one who's actually using their head here?
Mistress here, it turns out that BL-17 and I graduated from the same production facility. What do you mean, where have I been? Since when have you become my master?
You also see how much abuse C-3PO takes from this guy.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a toxic relationship.
Oh, 100% is. But they get together so long, but, and they bicker and they fight, but they don't want to go their separate ways. It's just, they're just caught. For decades with each other. It's really horrible.
It's like he's an abusive guy. It's a
talks down to him.
Yeah, talks down to him. R2's just got Stockholm syndrome or something. He just won't leave him.
That's how it is.
Well, sounds like an abused spouse or something. Well, if I leave him, who's going to take care of him?
Yeah. If it's not me, then who else?
Yeah. BL-17 is secretly trying to kill them.
Oh, yeah. Creative ways, yeah.
Yeah. Here's
after he goes on a little date with 3PO. Goes out the door.
Because he's real defensive of him, man.
Yeah,
like, this really is kind of a toxic relationship. Like, he talks down to C-3PO like, you're not smart enough to understand what we're doing. You wouldn't want to hang out with us. Your little stupid ass.
It is a pleasure to associate with a droid of comparable intellect. For a change.
Cool.
I really, I've seen this show and I've watched all of them. And for some reason, I really just hated C-3PO.
I think that's the point, though. He's supposed to think like he's the one that is making all the right decisions, but in reality, he's a fool. And we're supposed to laugh at him.
Oh, he's very much a fool.
But you're just annoyed by him. Like, I was certainly annoyed by him this episode. I didn't really find that funny. I mean, he gets a comeuppance, but still, it's just like, oh, God, here we go. Going through the rigmarole with him.
Yeah, C-3PO got this guy it's his new boyfriend.
Yeah, 100% that's what it is. Yeah. I found someone new.
Yeah, someone sexy and new. Meanwhile, this dude's trying to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Locked everybody in the garage with a gas leak.
Yeah, gassing them out.
Yeah, trying to gas them out, man.
Asphyxiate them.
But who saves the day?
R2.
Kia! Kia, what happened?
G.O.D.
Oh, gas. Leak in the welding tank. I'm all right, thanks to R2.
G.O.D.
Girl, it wasn't the gas. You're a liar. I see what you've been doing.
Show me your arm.
Yeah.
Show me your arm.
I mean, you've been having the spice, haven't you? Yeah.
You've been hitting that shit again.
No, I haven't had any spice. R2's keeping away from me. No.
So the reason why BL-17 bingo is trying to kill them is because, now I want to ask you this. So he works for this gang called the Fromm gang, who are the ruthless intergalactic gangsters.
Sure.
Who really, when you get down to it, they're just typical cartoon villains.
They're 80s cartoon villains.
They're 80s cartoon villains. They sit, especially the leader, who just sits around monologuing all day about he's going to take over something. Because everybody wants to take over something. Either the world, the galaxy, or every other gangster in the universe.
Because of them, I lost my super weapon, the Trigon.
Okay.
The key to my takeover of every other gang in the galaxy. And now, all I have is this Fromm.
This guy's like, I wish he shut the
every
every
day.
day.
Go, yeah.
Talking about how he gonna take over. You ain't gonna do a goddamn thing.
They ain't gonna do anything either.
Yeah, no, all
incompetent, 80s henchmen.
All of them. Yeah, they always sit around. I like the way they say, they always find a way to phrase something like, you middling nincompoop or something like that.
Yeah. Insulting. That,
always insulting. This.
Like, what are you doing? You call me a nincompoop. You're just sitting there. You're doing nothing.
Is this floating
Scrumpy. Everything's alliteration with them.
Yeah. Love to hear themselves talk.
You noodling nincompoop. They have 4 episodes with these characters.
They have an arc. They have an arc. Yeah.
So, and I, you must need to watch the other episodes to get their humor because I don't know what's going on.
No. Yeah. Clearly they're based on this episode. Like they have a relationship. They encountered them before, but at this point, it's they've lost everything. I guess they're seeking revenge.
Yeah, that's like the guy in the background is the leader's son.
Yeah.
And this other guy's his henchman,
Tipsy or whatever. Tippy.
That's why I didn't understand. Like
it's like a nickname.
There's a running joke, I guess.
Tibby, or whatever his name is. Tiggy. That's it.
You can call me Tiggy.
Don't you see, Blix? We have to beat Boba Fett to the punch. We have to prove to my father that we can take care of those two.
You have to help me, Blix.
What?
I'm giving you the point.
What are you pointing at? I'm not
even for me.
A new wardrobe. You can even call me Tiggy.
Like, okay, what's going on between these two?
Yeah, I know. Yes, Tiggy.
Yeah.
Even in public.
Yeah, what kind of romantic pet name is that?
Yeah.
Like these two are obviously.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But again, a toxic relationship because they're constantly assaulting each other back and forth.
Yeah.
No good relationships in this show.
Oh, look how he's lovingly grabbing his shoulder and everything. Yeah, what's going on with these two? You get these two together and you get to see just how incompetent they are. They're a couple of man.
Consistently.
I could only imagine that in every episode they come up with a scheme that they just totally mess up on.
Blows up in their face.
Yeah.
While they're gone, we can plant this detonator in their speeder.
Whoa! They even do the dumbass whoa.
They do. Whoa! Feet don't fail me now.
I saw all these episodes when I was a kid because I would watch the show all the time. I don't remember any of them, but I would imagine that this is the episode that either they teased and everybody was really excited for,
right?
Or when they saw it, they're like, oh, every kid had a oh shit moment. They introduced a certain character in a really cool way. I probably would say cooler than they've done in any kind of live action property at all.
I should mention I'm not getting along with some of the other gang leaders.
Jabba the Hutt has a reward out for you. I shall do as you ask.
Now, Lottie saw that silhouette.
Yeah.
Oh, that voice sounds a little too badass. Is it who I think?
Just remember.
Boba Fett.
Everybody was like, Boba Fett. Oh my God.
I like the one guy jiggle in the background.
Yeah. Shit, he must owe him money.
Yeah,
He said, oh, that dude is shaking back. I didn't even notice that.
He's jiggling.
Boba Fett.
After this, we are settled, size Fromm.
One of the significant things about this episode is that it, again, just kind of drives home just how much they didn't know what to do with that character later on.
Nope, not at all.
How much they changed this character, to just kind of fit into what they thought everybody's expectations are to fit into what would be a good business model.
That's what it is.
For the
How can we
studio.
sell as many toys? How can we make this character fun?
Yeah, because the whole narrative, the whole legend behind Boba Fett in those early days was that, as we said, he's a ruthless badass who has no allegiance to anyone.
Yeah.
He's all about the money, but always had a reputation of being one of the best bounty hunters, which means that he's probably a cold-blooded killer.
They don't come much worse than him. I almost feel sorry for those two speeder racers.
Yeah, it shows how they should have probably kept Boba Fett. Either leave him out and just don't do anything with him anymore, or keep him a villain. Keep him true to what his to what he was before. What made him the character that he is. Because later on with Book of Boba Fett, they tried so nice to retcon this character. Try so hard to retcon this character into, I won't say a nice guy or a good guy, but definitely way less threatening.
I mean, the fact that he's like, petting a Rancor going, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? I mean, that's a good guy. Only good guys do those kind of things. It's like he might be a little harder, You know, he might, you know, beat the hell out of you, but you know, they very much wreck him to be a very nice person in that show.
Yeah.
Where in this one, it's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll kill you for money. You gonna pay me? Yeah, I'll kill that guy.
Yeah,
sure.
And that, you know, and this company had a lot to do, I think, with what he was. Yeah, later on we see him petting what was it?
A baby Rancor.
Baby Rancor. Like, oh, yeah, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You know, the Boba Fett I know would never do that. No.
How far away?
Settle down.
Shut your ass up.
I just wanted to hit it. Wasn't doing anything. I just like hitting this thing.
Yeah. The Boba Fett I know abuses animals.
Yeah.
If Boba Fett came in here today and did not kick Pixie, I'd be upset about that.
It's like the Boba Fett, of course we do.
Yeah, but will you please kick my dog?
Yeah.
You know, Nelvana is the studio that did both the Boba Fett cartoon for the holiday special.
Right, so similar.
And it is the one that did this. They're a Canadian studio. And so it's almost like an animation studio had a better grasp on what this character was like.
Yeah, we get this faceless mercenary who's amoral, doesn't give a shit unless you pay him. Yeah, okay, we can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, they really...
They nailed it.
Yeah, they really got this character down. It just kind of, you know, every time I see some of this old stuff, man, it makes me sad to see what they've done today just to kind of please. See, this is the problem with a lot of Star Wars today. They're really trying to please everyone.
And by trying to please everyone, they please no one.
Yes.
That's what happens.
Yeah. This show predates pod racing.
I guess it does, yeah.
And they have sort of a pod racing segment.
Sports and Star Wars.
Yeah. Like those, what do you call those speed racers?
Speeders.
Speeders.
They call them speeders.
Yeah, speeders, man. So they, you know, it wasn't called pod racing. It was called, you know,
speeder racing.
Speeder racing or whatever. And then, but it was, you know, you could see the seeds of the pod racing idea here, about the concept here.
Boba Fett in his silver speeder.
So they were racing in tubes.
I know, it's like we're racing side of a hamster cage.
A habit trail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, okay, not a great design. I like the concept. I like the idea of sports in Star Wars, but yeah, the design's not great.
When I looked at this, it looked like Wet and Wild. You know, like looks like a water park. When you watch this show and spend more time with droids, you really start to see how the whole thing with droids is they're slaves, man.
Oh yeah, their mentality. It's just like we have to. Well, yeah, we got to have a master.
Well, their position, their mentality, everything.
Yeah,
it's like one of the things that I think that this show. I don't know. Maybe they did later. You know, I wouldn't remember, but maybe they did later where they had more dialogue dealing with this. But even when they just slightly touch on it, more than the movies or TV shows, or anything outside of this, this is the one that really kind of just. And happily so, you know, they would upset kids more in a very light tone. They addressed the point that these droids are kind of living a miserable existence, at least in our eyes. Sure.Maybe they're happy to do this, but they
don't know any better.
Yeah, they're slaves, man. You know, they're always talking about, you know, their sole purpose in life is to serve their masters. You know, they're always talking about how happy they are to serve their masters. There's actually, and now you think that that's what they want to do in life. You know, because they sound very happy especially when C-3PO lays out. Because C-3PO, he's an Uncle Tom robot, man. You know, he's
yes, he is.
He's always
he works inside the spaceship.
Yeah,
yes.
he's
if you will.
Yeah, he's a ship nigga. You know,
man, put that in Star Wars.
I moved up inside this shit. But he. You know, he's all throughout all of Star Wars, he's been so happy to serve and happy to call anybody master who he considers to be his master.
As R2 puts it so well, it is our honor and privilege to serve. We do appreciate your appreciation.
Now, what's interesting about that is that I would think that maybe that's just what they're programmed to do, and they're happy.
Yeah,
they're happy to be slaves or servants, to put a more, you know, kind of spin on it right there. But what was interesting here is that they had that one droid in the junkyard, Proto 1. And this whole deal was like, I like living in the junkyard because I'm free. I'm no one's slave.
Yeah.
I'm a free slave droid. And he tells them, because there's that point where he's like, you know, I'm my own droid now. He said, yeah, maybe somebody created me, but what I am now, I built myself. I'm a self-made droid.
Your creator must have been one of a kind as well.
I created me. They jumped me after a century of loyal mechanical service, so I repaired myself.
You know, it's when you hear that, it's like, man, these droids probably don't know any better. You know, you obviously have droids who want to be free.
Sure.
And I thought that was a great concept. And I don't know if they've ever addressed anything like that in any of the Star Wars movies or shows. Have they?
They have. There have been comics in which they've addressed that. Some in some ways where it was very over the top, like 3PO becomes like a Rambo-esque character. You know?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say he becomes like a Martin Luther King character.
No, he becomes like, I'm going to kill all the humans. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. But they reprogram. He's like, oh, I'm fine again. Okay. But they addressed that in Solo. You had the one droid that worked for Lando, or was also fucking Lando. She was stupping Lando. And she was all about, droid freedom.
That's right.
So it's come up recently.
Yeah.
But the old one was the one where 3PO was like a Rambo character.
So another thing that shows how they're slaves and how they're discriminated against, which we saw in Star Wars.
Yep, a lot.
Your droids can't come in here.
What does he say? Their kind isn't welcome here.
Yeah.
We don't serve their kind.
Wait outside, C3.
Okay, it's our lot in life. Yeah.
But with no master or no purpose, they show these guys just kind of being lost, C-3PO and R2-D2, and they're willing to even sacrifice themselves for the happiness of the masters, which seems sad because they have at the end of this, after that race that happened, the teenagers that we have here,
they win. Yeah.
They win, and they race so well that one guy who owns I guess a speed race company or something, he says, "Come build some bikes for me. You got spunk, kid."
My name is Zebulon Dak. I want you two to work for me. When can you start? Tomorrow? Tomorrow.
And here's where we have to have the droids take an exit because of droid discrimination.
Yeah, apparently.
You're sure Zebulon won't let R2 and 3PO go along?
Impossible. It's company policy.
So I don't have the clip here, but what he says that, what, these guys have been so good to us, we're not taking the job.
Yeah. They said that that they would have to reset 3PO and R2-D2's memories.
That's right. But basically kill them.
Yeah. Who they are and everything that they've been.
Yeah, and I guess that's another
Which is a thing in Star Wars. They do that often. But even in Revenge of the Sith, they erase 3PO's memories. They even say that. Make a point of saying
they do.
So, they're consistent with it.
Let's see.
R2? Policy. They'd have to be reprogrammed.
Yeah.
I'm afraid they'd no longer be R2 and 3PO.
Then forget Zebulon Dak.
Okay, it's settled.
That easy.
He even told us, then forget that guy.
Yeah, he sure did.
I was like, okay.
What do you think, huh? Yeah, man. So, and they decide, okay, we're not going to take the job. And that's when C-3PO says, well, first of all, I don't want to get killed. And second of all, but we, more importantly, we want them to be happy.
Yeah.
They gotta
successful.
Take the job. Yeah,
because they're going from, I guess they established, I get the sense in this episode, they go from planet to planet, participating in these very dangerous races, sometimes almost dying, and getting very little money out of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, get a nice cushy job at a corporation. There you go. Set for life.
So they go, So C-3PO just pretty much says, hey, man, we can't keep that opportunity from them, our masters. So it's
just one good moment.
Yeah, they're really at the end they show that all right. He might not have the best etiquette,
or common sense.
Common sense. He might be stupid sometimes. He might have almost gotten us killed several times. But for a droid, he has a big heart.
Yes, if we had stayed, they wouldn't have taken the job with Zebulon Dak. Yes, it was a sacrifice, R2. But that's what friends are for. Friend.
That's sad.
That is sad.
That's just a sad way to end this, man.
Dark note. They don't even know that anyone's going to pick them up. He would float through space for years.
Centuries.
Yeah, centuries.
Yeah.
Oh, God, what a horrible existence.
I know, man. It's just
that mentality of theirs, that servitude.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking about this. I was like, wow, this is kind of a dark ending for this show, a very dark theme. Of course, they're going to get picked up by another master.
Of course, cartoon. But
just
still.
The concept that they're willing to just sacrifice themselves like that. Maybe droids are just built to think differently. Maybe they can handle that.
Yeah,
we go crazy. But on a side note, that's the episode, y'all. It's very much a Saturday morning cartoon show, as you saw, but interesting themes that get introduced here. And like I said, man, it's just kind of, you never really get to explore R2-D2 or C-3PO like this.
No.
So it was a cool concept for a show to do that.